everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coalition Recap Trailer Reaction thing, where we are going to discuss the Superman trailer that just dropped today. This is the new DC Studios, kind of the big first main movie. We have Creature Commandoes that is already now playing. That's kind of the first, step of this new DC Studios, and now we have our official first teaser trailer. This is not a trailer, but teaser trailer of Superman. And this seems to be, I don't know. We're going to discuss our feelings. So I am joined by Mr. Danny Martinez once again. It is great to see you. How are you doing this lovely afternoon?
Good. I waited for the countdown for this trailer, so I was excited to actually wait for it.
Yes, we finally got the trailer. Long overdue. People thought we would get it earlier, Thanksgiving, and people thought we would get it, maybe it'll be during Super Bowl, but they dropped it in a sweet time. It's a very early Christmas gift. So, just kind of let's dive in. Overall, when watching this, what were your immediate thoughts?
They got the balls to show Superman at the most vulnerable in the literally the first few seconds of the trailer, and I was like, what the heck just messed him up like that to look like that. So I was surprised and kind of confused and kind of worried how people are gonna receive that type of image of Superman, because everybody thinks he's just completely indestructible. But yeah, that was my first initial reaction with it, and then throughout the whole thing, it just picks up better and better and better, and it just like the music just I think that was the best part of it, that kind of like it builds it all up.
Mm-hmm. Does Navi have any input too? Because she's like, hey, listen, I got something to
say. It was my text message.
I kind of agree. I thought it was crazy to start the trailer and him being down and broken, and there's blood, so it's serious. Mm-hmm. He's wheezing. You get the asthma attack is flowing. But it showed so many different sides to Superman, and you got Clark Kent in there as well. And it introduced a whole bunch of other characters as well. My main thing was like, oh no, I hope this movie doesn't get too busy. Because there were a lot of characters that were introduced. And so it was like, this is really promising. I'm really happy. And then they kind of centered it. Like the big grounding thing that they kept going back to was essentially love, with the relationship between him and Lois Lane, who was played by Rachel Brosnahan, who I really don't feel anything for, but hopefully she proves me wrong. So it was really interesting. You had family in there. You had him being broken. You had Rachel Brosnahan as, representing the love figure. You had, obviously, Lex Luthor going in there. You had Metamorphosis. You had Civil War. And that there was that country that we'll get to, but there was Civil War that was breaking out as well. You had him getting celebrated and being called upon. But at the same time, homie got a soup can thrown in his hand. Or maybe it was a soda can, but he was getting canned when he walked into that Stag Industry buildings. Mm-hmm. And then you had the other villain, who was played by, whose name is escaping me, who is always in James Gunn production. He's a billion. He was in there as well, and you could see, like, I don't know who's enemy, I don't know who's foe. You had Mr. Terrific in there. You had a black man who was, once again, being shot at by the police. He was a superhero. Yeah, so there was a lot of elements that I was really looking forward to, and it was really promising for me that I kind of like. So I guess we'll just kind of break it down from there. There were a lot of different images, as I stated. Got to go with the big main one here. We see that he is battered and broken, and he is bloodied. I'm not sure if the photo is showing for you.
No.
No. Lord,
there you go.
Name. You see?
There you go.
There you go. So you see this opening. It opens with this, and I think that's really great imagery of him just being battered and kind of an almost fetal position in the middle of the snow.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, so it's like in the middle of the snow. I am wondering where this is located. Is this more towards his own planet, or is it still on Earth? So that part should be interesting.
So
Yes.
My own assumption is probably, you know, at the Antarctic. I'm gonna, because they showed a couple of shots of him in the Fortress of Solitude. There's a shot of him with some sort of robot he's holding on to. You can kind of see the crystals in the background, and it kind of looks like he's in a Fortress of Solitude. So I'm assuming he gets into a fight somewhere in the Antarctic. Maybe the villains find out where he's at or anything, and then they mess him up. But so one thing I wanted to do, and I wanted to send it to you. Was a funny pose that is known for all anime fans. This is called the Yamcha pose. I sent it to you on Twitter, and like this is everybody making fun of Superman right now being messed up in this pose. So I thought it was kind of funny, and what makes it more sad and more funny is just the fact that Superman is at his weakest at this point, and this character Yamcha is pretty much seen as the most weakest character in all of Dragon Ball Z. So like it just. We know James Gunn is also a huge anime fan, so I feel like this is somewhat of an Easter egg, and I thought it's something just worth mentioning real quick about it. I just thought it was hilarious.
Aww, that's messed up. Oh, but that is funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like that post. That is funny. Oh, is that another animal next to him?
I think that's like an arm or a hand. Yeah, it's like a claw from one of the enemies.
But see, he got the enemy at the end of the day. He's down and out, but he declawed that enemy. It's handless. So it's a win, semi-win for him, though. Good Lord, that's just sad. So then, kind of moving on for that, we work with me, Jesus. Sorry. I'm like trying to do the thing and pull up the thing, and it's pulling up, but it's slow. Let's see if we can just switch over. Give me 5 seconds. Technology. Okay, so then here we go. This here, we immediately see him as Clark Kent. And one of the things that I do admire, I'm not going to lie, like we know it's the same person and you can see this whole thing, but they do a really great job of it. One feels like Clark Kent, and the other one feels like Superman. Granted, we're not watching a full trailer, but I do like the look. They just, messed up his hair and put his glasses on. But it does kind of work in a way where I can see the two different personalities, maybe a little bit. Am I overreaching?
I mean, I think that's on purpose. I think that's a really good take. That they should differentiate against each other. Yeah, and he's got the slick back look. So, but I think it's just as a comic book fan, it's way too different from the Clark Kent that I'm used to. But I get what they're trying to go for. It's a messy look because Clark Kent is supposed to be unkept and just like all over the place and kind of just like, he's a complete mess, and that's what he kind of looks like there. I'm not crazy about that hairstyle, but it still makes sense. It's just very different. But and then you see him with the slick back hair. It looks like he did it, and he looks different. So it's harder to tell between Clark Kent and who Superman is, at least a little bit. So it makes sense, but I think that hair as Clark Kent is going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, I don't think it's fair to compare him or anyone to anybody else who's embodied the role. Because, for me, my Superman, I think will always have to have been Christopher Reeve. And then, of course, when we had this TV show, Smallville, I think this is just because it is so iconic. And, of course, Smallville had many years to play, and I don't think it's fair to this is a different age, and for me, I want to see what he does.
Yeah.
But I do like, it feels like, just going off by images, the personality just feels different. You see this really serious mode, and again, this is just a screenshot. We don't know how he is as Superman, but there's just like this more serious focus thing about him, where he's on a mission and on this gold, as compared to when he's with Dad, and he just looks like, the all-American sweet boy. So to me, Superman kind of looks a little bit older than Clark Kent. So just going by look wise, I do hope we do get like a different personality. It
I
would be
think we
nice to see
are.
him.
I mean, James Gunn has already said that this is the Superman, like the Man of Tomorrow type of guy, the Boy Scout, the happy, positive person. I think what we're just seeing right now is um, a moment where he kind of snaps, or kind of just like gets fed up, or kind of gets sad or mad over something that happens in the movie. Maybe a friend dies, or maybe he's blamed for something, and the people doesn't have his back, hence like that person who threw a can in the back of his head. So he's going through it right now. I think it's a moment where he's being tested, but I think for the most part we're going to see a very, very positive, very Boy Scoutish Superman.
And I kind of like the fact that he got his can thrown at the back of his head. I want to know what's happening. I'm like, oh snap! But just this is to go to show the different sides of Superman. And again, we don't know. Lex Luthor has a way of manipulating people. He kind of gives me that weird not Superman, Spider-Man. Remember Spider-Man, the one before No Way Home, when it was like, oh, well, even you can include No Way Home, because remember people were very split on loving Spider-Man or hating him.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was like that too, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I think there's a lot of different, there's a complex to how we view. And then again, this is an alien from outside our world, an unknown. Is he here to cause harm or good? Maybe he slipped up. Maybe the Avengers. Even the Avengers slipped up and got those people killed. So maybe it's a very human moment. I don't know, but I am intrigued by that. And then we have him going into a Daily Planet, which is a big part of the entire Superman and Clark Kent persona. That is where he works as a reporter. And I like that they gave it like a main focus. It kind of gives this establishing shots of, yes, this is, we're going to focus on the things that we know of in regards to Superman. And I really did appreciate that. And then we go further inside and we see the workers that are there. So I did like that. It's like, here's your home base, and then boom, here's Lois Lane. And this is something that we know is a part of Superman no matter what. So I really do like the fact that they showed that. These are images that are associated with him. What are your thoughts? Because this ends up being surprisingly a very Lois Lane focus, because it keeps returning back. It's that beat where something's wrong, here's love. Something's wrong, here's love. What are your thoughts on Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, or just Lois Lane in general?
I think I don't. I mean, who knows? But I don't think the biggest she'll have a huge focus in the movie. But I think she'll be his anchor. And that's the way she's always been. She's been his anchor. And whenever he's lost his way, she's kind of been there. Whether she knows it's Superman or who Superman is, I don't know if she knows he's Clark Kent in this movie. But regardless, she's always been his anchor. Just the type of person who picks him up whenever he's down, and that's kind of like why they develop that love for each other. They help each other out and stuff. And I think those are those moments we were kind of seeing in the trailer was him being picked up whenever he needed to be. Because sometimes it's just not all about strength. Sometimes it's about the emotions, and it's about the mental capacity to handle all this stuff that he does for the world and things. So I don't think it'll oversaturate her too much with like this whole love interest stuff, but I think she'll play a part in that sense. And I really like the way they did the Daily Planet as well. Like, it's very old school newspaper style. From like the old comics and the old TV shows and all that stuff. I still find it strange though. I don't know how they're gonna mix together new technology, that we use ourselves in the world, like all these new high-powered computers and cell phones and video cameras and webcams and just all this stuff, versus what the Daily Planet actually does, which is old school newspaper, which we know pretty much is almost dead and gone in our society. So I'm wondering if they're like going to mix the two together, or they're kind of just going to try to ignore it. Because we also have Mr. Terrific, which we'll get to at some point. But Mr. Terrific, he's very high tech. He brings in all the high tech gadgetry and stuff like that. So I don't know how they're going to like meld all that together, which will be interesting.
I never thought of that. See, well, again, I don't think you have to bring everything into the real world.
Yeah.
You can still have the Daily Bugle. No, sorry, Daily Planet. As you know, people read the Daily Planet. You saw Superman walk in. Well, not Superman. Clark Kent walk the streets, and he was like that opening shot of him being regular. He has a newspaper in his hand.
Yeah.
So media is still alive in the world of the Supermans. Not everything needs to be up to date.
I agree.
But yeah, I completely agree with you in terms of Lois Lane being an anchor. Here's the thing: I think if we really want to change it up just a wee bit, I would appreciate if she already knew that they were the same person. Just because we've already seen, she doesn't know, and then we sort of transition to her knowing. So I wish that we were already just throw us into the story that people already know. To me, I think would be wonderful. Because I don't like that repetitive, like, oh my gosh, here's Superman. I'm just tired. Yeah. But we don't know if she knows. So I kind of would appreciate if we just kind of jumped into that. And so, they had office employees also talking about more anchors. We had him with Paul. It's Paul Kent right there. Who is played by, that's Jonathan, who is played by Pruitt Taylor Vince. So I really do like that they have, here's family, here's home, here's everything that keeps Clark Kent grounded. And he has we don't know the conversation, but it seems to be a very heartfelt conversation where, you have the hand over each other's shoulder, and it's this really touching moment. And it just kind of feels that, this little country boy is getting his nice little advice. We don't see Ma. I hope Ma's alive. And I hope they don't kill Paul. He just walked into a storm. So it's nice seeing half of the family members there with him. Then kind of moving on here, where we have again another establishing shot where he has that look. I don't know what it is about his face, where it's like I can't tell if you're interested or detested. But that was him in the Daily Planet. That kind of goes back and forth with the look between him and Lois Lane. I don't know if it's going to be like a meet cute moment where it's like we can't stand each other. Oh, we actually like each other type of situation. I hope not. But he has faces and he's very expression. There's a lot of expression, which I do like when it comes to acting. Give me your face. And then we kind of go back to the dog here, where he was whistling for Krypto. And, this is Krypto the Superdog. For those who don't know, this was also a really big part of, oh my gosh, what was that, the DC Pets movie, where they had Krypto and all of the other DC Pets. He was like a guinea pig. I'm really forgetting it. And I did the whole interview with everyone back when it popped off. And that's really bothering me. It's when The Rock even started.
Yeah.
It was executive produced by The Rock, and it was like.
Keanu Reeves was Batman, the Bat Dog.
DC League of Super Pets. So he was featured in the movie. So for those who don't know, watch that because that's it's a good movie first of all, and it's very cute, and it gives a lovely little backstory to Krypto, and it was adorable. But that is Krypto. And, Superman's canine friend, he is from Krypton, Krypto. He has super strength. He has flight. So when he's like, dude, take me home. And we see him later on, we'll see him drag Superman through the snow. So it's not like, while you're telling this dog to do something that the dog can't do. The dog can do. He can fly him home. He has super hearing, which is why he's able to listen to the whistle. And Superman, as you know, has that super strength thing where he can whistle out and reach the high pitches and everything else in the dips so that he can hear. Yeah. So I thought it was really cute to just, bring Krypto. And James Gunn, as we know, I think Krypto is his dog. We do know that he is a lover of pets and animals. Look at Guardian of the Galaxy Part 3, Volume 3. The whole thing that he did with those beavers and those other animals and broke my heart. And I'm like, this is not real. This is a puppet, but it's real to me. So he's very good when it comes to animals. So I do think that Krypto is going to get some screen time here. And we're going to feel that kind of, man's best friend. And that was kind of the first image that popped off when they was teasing Superman was him and Krypto. He announced this is Krypto will be a part of the story. So I'm happy to see that. I don't have anything negative against that. And we'll get to see, some dog superpowers along the way. So yay to that one. And then here we get, that's again with the hand over the shoulder, more grounding of establishing shots of, this is my home. This is what it's like on Earth for me. These are the people who care about me and love me. And again, here we go. Krypto is kind of like, you were a hot mess. It's time to go home, buddy. And this here, I wanted to say these are some really great little cinematic moments. Just even look at the cinematography wise. Granted, this is, just a still image. But you see him rescuing this girl from, a massive explosion where all of these are these tanks. I'm not exactly sure, but they can seriously kill or injure her. So you see him being that savior that we know. So what were and I thought that was just really beautiful imagery right there in cinematography. That is the classic Superman. What are your thoughts? I know it's just, again, a teaser on kind of seeing him as the savior.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Like there has to be some of that imagery of him being a savior or something or someone, and those little moments still matter of just like saving the everyday person. So that little girl, I don't know what the hell she was doing there when this big ass monster was whatever this monster is, like just fighting everywhere, and she's just standing around. I don't know what she was doing there, but we'll find out. But he was there to save her, and I also appreciate the sense. I want to quote, the sense of realism of it. Like he covers her, but he puts her head down and everything to make sure no debris is like flying all around the place and still kind of hits her. So he still protects her that way. I really hope we see more moments like that, whether it be like really, even if it's just like really quick things, because we know he's capable of doing it. But I think that's part of a good part of his character development is seeing those moments.
Yeah. Oh, also another thing really quickly was with this shot here. What's interesting question that is raised, he says, take me home. But then he asks, where is home? And I think that has a lot to do with maybe the psyche that Superman Clark Kent is going through. Yeah. Where he could be like, that I am from Krypton, but I'm also from Earth. Mm-hmm. So it's that struggle of identity for him, because he's asking the dog, like, hey, where do I belong?
Probably at this moment, the people don't like him, so he's second guessing himself right now.
Yeah, exactly. People throwing bottle cans at you. I would be like, hey, I don't want anything to do with you as well. And I love also with this one, children are always presented as like just completely unaware of their surroundings. I think in everything, even in like parody movies, they're just standing there as buildings are falling, or they're just screaming into the abyss, or they're just crying without moving. So that I think is going to just be the norm when it comes to children just being completely unaware of things. But this baby boy, he is aware of things right here. This is what I do know. So this here, why is this important? Is because this is what is that country? Give me 5 seconds. But this is the country of, it's a fake country. I'm doing it. I'm getting there. Here we go. Okay, this is Borovia. So he is from Bavaria, which they are currently going through a lot of civil war right now. Okay? And this little boy, it is a European country that had a civil war after the internal revolt against an international racketeer who helped steal a poisonous gas. And this boy is calling for Superman. He is saying, we need help. Help us. And he keeps saying Superman, Superman, as like a prayer for him to arrive and to help us. And he is raising the Superman flag. So you see that while other people may not stand him, we don't know the order of events at this moment. Maybe he screws up over there, and then that's why he gets the can thrown in his head. But you see him, being wished upon, and please come and help us, be our savior. So I really liked the juxtaposition that they have here going on with savior or hero and villain. And also, we'll get to that later, but this also connects to Creature Commandos. So, what are your thoughts on we see this country that is completely out war? We see him raising that flag, and things are popping off that are not, good. We're in war.
I mean, I think it's a good reminder that Superman is not just for Metropolis, but he's for everyone and everywhere. I'm
Uh-huh.
wondering how they're going to go about this scene because maybe he doesn't make it, and people die, and he gets in
Ooh.
trouble over it. He gets accused of where were you? You were supposed to be there, but I don't think people realize that one man can't be everywhere at once. So regardless of how many people shout Superman and waving those flags, he can't always make it and can't always be there. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a moment like that, or it's just going to be
Mm.
another one of those savior moments where just like with the little girl, is just that he shows up just in time to save that little kid from, we can kind of see like a militia or an army or somebody behind him. Maybe he's about to get shot or something. So maybe Superman just swoops in and kind of saves him real quick. I don't know, but either way, it's good character.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. That's really great here. And then kind of just going down here for a second to see these are the connection to Creature Commandos.
Oh, with
So
What was it,
yeah.
Cersei? What was her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also see the GBC News is the same station that also appears in Creature Commandos, and it's going to be set in the DCU. So they're creating a universe, a shared universe. So
Mm.
animated bleeds into live action, which is something I kind of appreciate. But it doesn't feel like hopefully you have to watch Creature Commandos to understand what's going to go on in other shows and other movies. So I like that we have a shared universe, but I like that I don't have to do homework.
Yeah.
So it's cute. It's That's the definition of Easter eggs. Ah, so I do appreciate that part. And then kind of we have here a big establishing shot of Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor here with a gun. I don't know if it's some kind of special gun or a regular gun, but he's giving his best James Bond, ball-headed James Bond look here. I'm kind of for this. I don't know how I feel about it, but it's surprising to see everyone young. That's kind of what surprised me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
These are younger characters. I don't know how old he would be in this. I don't know how old he is in life. But what do you think? Just first off, just the image, because we don't know anything except for Lex Corp's. Lex is described as a genius, but he's evil. So we're doing evil, and I hope they stay evil. I don't want any of that. But he's just misunderstood as a villain. Give me evil for the sake of evil. What are your thoughts on James Bond 2.0?
Well, first to mention before about the young character, I a lot of people complain that they a lot of what do you say, like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was a
Mm-hmm.
great Batman as an older Batman, and there was a reason for him to be an older Batman. And then now we have the other guy as the Batman. I forget his name.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, yeah, and I think that is a perfect age because not just because of the character wise, but just financially, strategically, you need younger actors to last through this franchise. There's a reason why Corenswet is as young as he is, and people like Lex Luthor and all these people are much younger because you want them to continue on the franchise with sequels and spinoffs and all this stuff to make it last. If you got someone like Ben Affleck playing as Batman continuously the entire time, he's only got like another 10 years on him or whatever. So yeah, there's that thing. So I'm glad everybody looks young but still very well established. As for him looking at Lex Luthor, I think he actually looks really cool. I think when we saw the Lex Luthor for Henry Cavill's Superman, excuse me, I think it was god awful from the start. Like it looked like a freaking wig that he had on, and I was waiting for him to pull off that wig so he could show his bald head. And his acting was, I like his acting in other movies, but his portrayal of Lex Luthor was god awful. That was never my Lex Luthor in any way, sense, or form in a comic book, in an animated show or movie or anything. I don't know where you got that that image, that idea to have that kind of manic Lex Luthor. So I think Nicholas Hoult would do a really good job. He's just as good as an actor as well. But the bald head kind of it's iconic. You got to do that. And the facial expressions that you see in him, he looks mean. He looks evil. He doesn't look like a dork, and like he did in these other the Henry Cavill Superman movies. Like he looks like a bad guy. So I'm hoping he stays that way too.
I will always love Miss Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah,
that was a horrible miscast.
I love him, but yeah, it really was.
He did give an interview and he was like, he feels that he lost a lot of work because of that. And I feel he's in a real pain, which he wrote and directed. And I think that, I don't like the term of staying in your lane, but sometimes do things that work best for you. And I think that where he's at right now, especially with real pain and with certain movies, that is what works best for him. That was, and it's not his fault. I'm not the director. I don't know what the meeting was like. They could have told him to act that way, but it was not good. And it wasn't like, oh, his performance is not good. The way that they directed it and those instructions that they gave him was not good.
It's the fact that they allowed it to happen. Even if it was his idea for this type of Lex, it's still not James Gunn. It's still it's still Zack Snyder's decision to be like, oh no, we're not going to go that direction. Let's do something else. But he decided to keep on going with it, and it was bad decisions all around.
Yes, but I love Jesse. I have a real pain interview coming up in a couple hours. God bless him. But no, yeah. So going what you said, I completely agree with that as well, and I do kind of like this thing here, and I'm wondering, is this an act of paranoia, or is he really being hunted? This is, the chickens are coming home to roost, as the grandparents would say. That's what I wonder about this whole scene here. And we do see like it's messy. It looks like it's destruction, maybe destruction, a lot of dust. The light, I like how they use the light here. But some things are happening, and so I'm wondering if he feels like he's being hunted. If Superman is finally coming after him, and that's why he's grabbing his gun.
He's got a bullet in there.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what kind of gun is it? They said he's a genius, but they also said he's genuinely evil. So, what are we doing? And then after that, we got this really great establishing shot of him just Superman punching through a window. So maybe he's being held captive, or maybe he's just trying to get to the other side of the window. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if Superman, that could be a connection to this. Lex Luthor has Superman, in a holding cell, locked up, and then he's busting through, and then now homie he's protecting himself because now Superman's on the loose. I don't know. We're just guesstimating. It's just a teaser trailer. We know nothing. But here's something that we do know. And again, I love how this is photographed. This is inside of Stark Industries. And that, my dear, is Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner.
Yes. The Green Lantern pieces. No?
Sorry?
So anyway, Stark Industries, which is owned by Simon Stack, who's a billionaire owner of the company, who created Metamorpho, which we'll get to later, through genetic engineering. So we'll get to that part. But then at this part here that we're looking at with the image and the photo, this is Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion. And I hate that wig. I just don't like that look. It's lovely, but I just genuinely don't like it at all. I done lost my paper. So here is give me a second because I'm a mess. So Guy Gardner, here we go, is a Green Lantern with years of experience, as I stated, played by Nathan Fillion. And you had him with he's wearing a Lord Tech suit, which again is owned by billionaire Maxwell Lord. And it does not look like he's, I don't know if he's friend or foe within this situation, but we do see him laser someone that could be on the outside. Maybe he is shielding the building so other people can't get in. This is the building that Superman walks into when he's getting canned in the head, and you see that he is resting upon some kind of podium. I don't know if this is like a memorial thing, where because he does seem like he's defeated at this point. It seems like he is emotionally sad and broken. And we do know that Guy Gardner comes in with some kind of personality that's like, yeah, I'm the big kahuna. Come worship and love me. So it'll be interesting to see that relationship come to play. I don't know what that relationship is at the moment, but it does have some enemies. And I think that we're working much larger than a Lex Luthor situation. But I do think that, there are billionaires out there who are trying to control the situation. So kind of what are your thoughts, at least with this shot or with this look of seeing that, things can pop off?
Yeah, Stag Industries was very apparent in the trailer, so I think they have a huge part in it, especially like you mentioned, they create Metamorpho. So Metamorpho is one of the villains in the movie, so I guess they're gonna have some sort of connection. And it kind of seems like Guy Gardner is maybe sided with Stag Industries. Maybe he's misunderstood in that sense, and maybe they go into a little bit of a fight. Kind of reminds me of when the first Avengers movie came out. Each hero fought against each other because they all misunderstood their motivations. So maybe we get moments like that when it comes to Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl and everybody else we saw in the trailer. So I think we're gonna have a moment like that with that. And yes, I hate the freaking wig. I can't stand that look that he has. I love Nathan Fillion, but why would you decide to look like that? I don't know if they're gonna do it. Come on, like, it's so obvious how bad that thing looks. Like, even in real life, no one would have a haircut like that. Like, come on. Like, Nathan Fillion's regular hair would have been perfectly fine. The uniform looks great. The uniform is fine. The Green Lantern uniform, it looks okay. We can stick with that. I'll let that slide. But like, the hair is just so bad, and I really thought that was just well, I saw set photos of it, and I was just like, I really hope that's just like a temporary decision and they do something else with it, but that's not the case here. I hope maybe down the road he dyes his hair or cuts his hair or something, but it's really bad. He looks like a goof. But I like Green Lantern in general, so I'm hoping they do him justice, and maybe this leads to something with the whole Justice League thing connecting at some point. They'll hint at it with all these characters, which, by the way, I should mention before we haven't mentioned is because you said earlier on in this episode that there are a lot of people, there are a lot of characters in this trailer, a lot of people in this movie, and the thing is that I think James Gunn is capable of handling that. I think when we've seen like past Marvel movies, or even let's say even Zack Snyder's like Justice League, there's not enough character development. There's never enough time for everybody, but James Gunn has shown he's able to juggle multiple characters with Creature Commandos, with Guardians of the Galaxy, with Suicide Squad. They've had multiple characters and they've all felt fleshed out. So I know he's going to be able to juggle this the right way. But yeah, the Green Lantern look just isn't for me. And Nathan Fillion is one of my favorite voice actors ever, especially with one of my favorite video games here. This is him actually right here. That's Nathan Fillion right there.
Very nice.
So he's one of my favorites. So I hope he does well in this movie.
Yeah, and also Black Adam was an ensemble.
Yeah.
As well. That did very good introducing everyone. But then also kind of with this, so you see the lasers thing that's popping out here. The lasers, is a chemical. Well, basically, Stag Industries is a chemical and genetic research center that was founded by, like I said, Simon Stagg, who is kind of created Metamorpho. And it's kind of really interesting that you see like everyone just out and about using their powers, and I love it. I just really love it, and I really think that they're coming to like a come to Jesus moment where maybe he's realizing, Metamorpho and what's being created. Or maybe, again, that's when his friends or somebody he knows dies. Don't kill Paul. But you don't know. And then, that's when we get the, go back with people just being angry. And in here, that's him he's thinking. This is that look that he's giving when he's inside of the Stag Industries. And he is going through it. And also, I love that this face does not look like Clark Kent's face.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same face. I like how we're establishing these different characters. So that gives me hope and happiness and some promise that things are going very well. And then kind of moving on, we get our first look at Hawk Girl, which is part of the Justice League. Um, so I do like that. This is played by Isabella Merced. I'm probably butchering that. I apologize. She is an alien Romulus also, but she is a Hawk Girl. She is flying through the sky, and she's not just flying to fly through the sky, but there's a dragon, it looks like, that she is trying to defeat that's just fire is everywhere. So things are popping off. So we're again more characters. I don't know where fire breathing. Maybe it's a dragon, and maybe it's not a dragon. It's a creature. Maybe it's something that came from Stag Industries, or maybe it's no. I don't think Metamorpho can change. It can change into different elements, but he can't change it to like different creatures. So it's not him. But we're getting that kind of random thing going around here. Which take that as you will. But I'm happy to see Hawk Girl there. And then kind of moving on, we have more of Lois Lane, kind of giving more of that grounding. This is what it's like to be human. This is love. I love you. Boobity coop. Right there. I still feel nothing for this child. God bless. I hope she's amazing.
I gotta mention,
yeah.
I gotta mention before we even touch on Metamorpho, go back on that first picture with him and Lois. It's such a strange scene there because there's something going on in the background. It looks like the city's is being attacked, and yet they're just there having a conversation. I'm wondering if Superman really is being that conflicted to the point where he's just gonna sit there and not give a crap about what's going on to the city right now, and Lois kind of has to have a talk with him because there was a marketing poster where they released Superman Corenswet. He's putting on his boots, and you see something happening in the background outside in the window. And I think this is that shot right there. Like there's chaos going on back there and nothing's being done about it. So it's so weird just to see him just sit there. And I'm wondering what's going through his head.
Not everything has to be rushed. And if you get cans thrown at your hand, are you going to be like, let me go help the people? Well, screw you. You threw a can in my hand.
That Superman would not care. That Superman would be like, I love you all regardless. But
that's
yeah,
true.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Come on now. He's also a little bit human. He was raised by some humans. He's throwing cans and things. And he looked like he's been conflicted this whole time.
He's probably
so
fed
let
up.
me take my time. He's fed up. Let me take my time putting on my boots. Let me not break my ankles for you. So let me go talk to my boo. Let me go put my shoes on. Let me go get the dog. And then I'll get you. Mean not everybody? Some people will live. Not everybody might die. I'll rescue them. So maybe I don't know, but it is funny the speed thing. Fastest man alive. He's taking his time. So then, obviously, the big money shot where we don't really see him do anything. It's more of just shot where we get Metamorpho. And he is played by Anthony Kerrigan, which I hope I didn't mispronounce. And Metamorpho can change his body into any element he wishes. He can't transform into things. So he's not a dragon. What are your thoughts on that part?
He looks cool. I mean, again, like you said, we don't get to see anything. I see a little bit of purple on his shoulder there, so it looks like they're kind of sticking with his old school colors, just making it look a little bit more alive and real. Because those are kind of his colors and the markings that he has on his face. So I think he looks cool. He doesn't look like cheesy. He doesn't look like some Power Ranger villain knockoff thing or anything. It looks pretty cool. I don't know why some people would think it's Brainiac. I think it's too soon for something like that. But I'm curious how they're gonna use him. Like, is he gonna turn into lead so he doesn't get messed up by Superman? Is he gonna turn into kryptonite and weaken Superman? Maybe that's how he gets messed up in the Antarctic scene. I don't even know if he's the main villain. Apart from Lex or maybe somebody from Stag Industries. We'll see.
Well, yeah, he is an archaeologist. Probably working for Stag Industries. He is an archaeologist, and as I said, he can transmute elements in his body into various forms. Maybe he gets into that accident. Things go completely awry. Stag Industry saves him. He's like, I'm half dying, so they have to do some type of genetic testing and surgery things, and then it turns him into this. We don't know how they're going to do the origin story, but I think he looks really great. He also looks like he might be, I don't know, if he's pensive, if he's in pain, if he's watching everything, if he's been brainwashed to be like, Superman's evil. We don't know at this point. So that should be very interessante there. And then kind of going back more of establishing shots. This is like the big main thing here. Him flying in the air with Lois Lane as someone who does not understand relationships or love. That's very corny, but that's also what he stands for. So I understand why people are like, yay! I think it's just corny. But that's just me. I know you cried when you saw that. You was like, it's so beautiful.
No, I would cry. I would cry more over crypto than any lovey-dovey stuff that goes on with them. I've seen them for decades deal with that. So that doesn't even affect me the same way anymore.
So then here's kind of Crypto getting his man. He's like, I got you, boo. I don't know which home we going to, but we going to somebody's home. So that works here. And then kind of here you have Superman it's a lot of emotion in this movie. So I do appreciate that. And the next one here, I've been trying to pick two. This is terrific. What are your thoughts on, this is how we introduce Mr. Terrific, who is, he's played by, oh Lord, nice, these names. Eddie something. Eddie Guy. Oh, I cannot pronounce this, and I'm so sorry. Gaffagi. I'm sorry, but he is just terrific, and we get him in the suit, and he, as you can see, he is using a shield because they are trying to kill him. Once again, superhero still being killed by the police. Black man. What are your thoughts on him?
I think he looks cool. I like the mask. It looks very organic in a sense, not literally that it's a skin, but just it looks very natural in his face. There's another version of Mr. Terrific in the CW. I want to say it was either Arrow or the Flash, and it was pretty much just face paint, and it wasn't really crazy about it. Obviously a CW, you got a little bit more low budget, but his look is great. He looks great. The whole suit and the costume. I'm wondering what's going on in there. I think he's surrounded. It seems like with LexCorp, or now at this point it's Luthor Corp. It's not even LexCorp. It says Luthor Corp on there. But he's surrounded by, I assume it's LexCorp people, because if you notice some of the soldiers, they have a greenish, purplish tint, and those are the colors that are pretty much well known for Lex Luthor and his arsenal of weapons and armor and all this stuff to fight Superman. So I'm assuming this is a LexCorp thing. So they're shooting him up, and I guess that's Lois on the bottom, I assume, getting protected. So I'm wondering what's going on with that, but I think he looks great, and he's obviously using his technology as his superpower in a sense. So I can't wait to see what else he can do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I also like really, I'm bored. I have this.
Yeah,
you're not gonna do anything. So I kind of like that. And then here's another thing that I was trying to make out. Obviously, this is the destruction from, as we stated before, there is something fire breathing. I don't know if it's a dragon or what.
Yeah.
But there's something that is fire breathing that Hawk Girl is, fighting. And we see, establishing shots of buildings and destruction. It's always going to be destruction. We never see the cleanup or the aftermath. But there's going to always be something of buildings and destruction. But this is interesting here. This is a football field. Is that Mr. Terrific?
I don't know who that is. I feel like that's possibly Metamorpho. I have no idea who that is. There's another shot of him breaking through some walls, and I still can't get a good glimpse of his face. I don't know who this person is.
I would love to know who this is, because Superman's getting his butt beat, and as you can see, he's using his full strength and tearing up that field. I just don't know who that is. So we're going to see a lot of action and a lot of fight within this, and this does look like it's very promising in terms of giving us that. So I'm kind of looking forward to what they've presented so far. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that there needs to be kind of talked about. But kind of what were your it's a kaiju monster. So kaiju, gotta say kaiju instead of like a dragon. So it could be original character because again, I am not aware of kaiju monsters in Superman.
I mean, kaiju monsters is literally just a broad term for a giant monster. It is just. Maybe this monster really doesn't have any bearing to the story whatsoever. It's just something to test to showcase the powers of these superheroes showing up and stuff. And that's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That was it.
For the record, okay. This is Ultraman.
Who?
Ultraman.
Ultraman.
My notes were all over the place. This is Ultraman.
Okay.
You know who Ultraman is. Do you not know who Ultraman is?
Sure, but this
the evil version. I mean, if we're dealing with genetic industries and testings and things, this seems like this movie is going to be. I'm worried.
That's a
this
lot.
Looks like a lot. But it is rumored. This is not established. Mm-hmm. But the main theory is that this is Ultraman. He is an evil version of basically Superman. He is an alternative version of Superman, and I don't know how I feel about that, and I hope that's not true. I just hope it's just like a really strong super soldier.
I don't think so. I think that's
because that would be too much.
Yeah, that's a bit too much.
And the people are saying that this scene here, homie over here, and home skillet who got the can thrown at his head. Mm-hmm. Remember that scene that we've been talking about? That's could be Ultraman as well. Which is why Guy Gardner is looking like that and just zapping people and walking away. And it would be, and Mr. Terrific looks like he's behind him. I'm not sure if that's a black man. It looked like a black man to me. But Mr. Terrific is behind Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
And it's a theory. It's a theory. And maybe that is why homie's getting cans thrown at his hand, because people don't know that that's Ultraman and not Superman. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're evil. And we do know that Lex Luthor likes to manipulate people. It's a lot.
I don't like this at all.
You're like, no, I don't want this.
I don't want this.
It could be, because that is not Superman. That kind of, if that's the case, remember the dream sequence from was it Justice League? Or was it Batman and Superman? Batman versus Superman, where it was like evil Batman, and he's being arrested, and he kills people. But that was a dream sequence from Nightmare.
Oh, evil Superman.
Evil Superman.
Yeah.
So maybe this is Ultraman's version of what Ultraman is doing, or it could be like, hey, this is how it would look like if I just go evil. I'm just, because it would make a lot more sense as to why people are throwing things at him and like, look, the black man's angry. Everyone's angry in this scene. There's not one cheer. Not one like, hey, my guy. So he could be Ultraman coming into this area here. Guy Gardner may know, or maybe he doesn't know. And then maybe he's like walking in with Mr. Terrific and is like, hey, you want to join our side?
No.
He's like, no, I don't like this.
No.
I rebuke you in the name of all that is holy. He's like, no, thank you, but no thank you. We rebuke you. He's like, I'm good, okay. So then no to that. But then also we see other scenes of the Fortress of Solitude, which was shot near the Northern Lights. So it's pretty. We do have that. And then I was trying to get to my robot. Did I not post my robot? There is a robot scene. Jesus is a biscuit. There's a robot scene where he is comforting. Maybe that would be his friend. And we don't know who his friend is, but there's a robot scene in here. Where it appears that, it could be his assistant robot from the Fortress of Solitude.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Ultraman goes there and kills him.
You know what? Jeez. You know what would make more sense at Ultraman, to be honest? If we want to go that route of an alternate Superman, we could easily just do Bizarro. Like, you can easily just be like, Lex Luthor got a piece of his DNA. He cloned Clark, Superman, Kal-El, whatever you want to call him, and then we're seeing another version of Superman, and he's doing a lot of mistakes, and a lot of people are pissed off at Superman because they think he's Superman, and he slowly morphs into that Bizarro.
But I'm wondering if James Gunn wants to give us things that we've seen before. And we have lived with Bizarro, especially through the animated series of Superman.
We have recently did Bizarro in the CW Superman that just finished airing. I think they did just as the last season. We had Bizarro, who turned into Doomsday eventually, which was very well done, by the way. But I don't know. Maybe.
It was very well done, but it could be too much. So we can go with Ultraman. I don't know, like in terms of trying to be original and not be so repetitive. Lois Lane isn't that, but to not be kind of repetitive, they could go that route.
I'm just picturing it being a mistake because they tried to do that with, and mind you, this was freaking 30 years ago, so things have changed, but they've done this before with Superman 4. With Christopher Reeves, with the stupid sun guy. I can't remember the guy's name anymore, but the guy was made from the sun. Solar Man, I think it was, or Nuclear Man. Nuclear Man. Yeah, so they tried to do that, a clone in a sense of Superman, and I hated that movie so much, and that's what I'm picturing it going the route of, is just being a really bad like take on Superman in some way. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of Ultraman or Bizarro in any sense either. I don't want Bizarro either, but I thought that would make more sense than Ultraman would.
I see both. I hope neither is true, because again, I don't want this to get too crowded and too messy. Yeah. And you're throwing everything at us, and then we have to wait until future movies for things to be fleshed out, because we're introducing so many people at this moment. Mm-hmm. So we will see. I do kind of love the fact that we got whatever it is. It seems to be different personalities or different sides to Superman, Clark Kent. So I do appreciate that part. I'm very happy about that. And then kind of lastly, I'm still trying to post a picture, but I do think that for a teaser trailer, that this was very effective. Mm-hmm. I'm just worried if he gave us too much. And that's a weird complaint because we hardly get anything when it comes to teaser trailers. That's like really big and establishing for us.
Well, I still think even with all the stuff that this trailer thrown at us, I still think it's a great teaser because we haven't established anything. It's just throwing at us everything to expect. And look at us talking for an hour right now about speculating about what's really going on. So I think it does a really good job of teasing us.
That is very true. And I did not realize it was going on that long. But then lastly, right here, this is the shot. This is like the money shot of heartbreak and pain and anguish. That's his assistant. He knew that guy, robot man. And that is in the Fortress of Solitude. You see the glass and kind of the snowy stuff in the background. So that is his place. That is his homie. We don't know if Lex Luthor was responsible. We don't know if there was a big battle attack where we had, kaiju coming around there. Who's to say that the Justice League people are like, we can't stand him, and then trash the place and kill the homie? But the homie did. And you saw him, like, you see him clutching his hand. So maybe he's telling him something vital, or maybe he's already dead. But he is heartbroken. And that is his people, and that is his home. And maybe that is like, then the last assistant that can help him to have that connection with his home. Oh my gosh, I hope we don't get like a Halo. What is it? What do you call it? A Halo graph? Well, I can't remember the name. Well, like when it's that Halo appearance of like the dad, because daddy is dead, and so is his mama. That graphic.
I'm not sure.
Hologram. How did that get?
Oh, the hologram. The hologram of his dad, his Kryptonian dad.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get some holograms.
So that's actually my theory of what I was thinking, because he's clearly upset about this robot. So either this robot better have some really good character development for us to feel what he's feeling in this moment, or I would assume that this robot was a frame for the holographic version of his dad whenever he visits the Fortress of Solitude. So he watches his dad die, in this form, and now he no longer has the holographic form of his father. So that's my assumption, because he looks like he's known this robot for decades, and like he's pissed and sad at the same time for the death of this robot. So I don't know what this robot means to him. It must mean something, and I hope we feel that way too when this moment happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I kind of got to go. This is a very emotional teaser trailer. So I do appreciate that. Really great job establishing who, at least we assume, who the character is and all the other characters, and there's a lot of characters. But hopefully it will be a better pace. We don't know what the runtime is. This could be a 2.5 hour movie. We don't know. So maybe he's allowing everything to breathe. I have trust in James Gunn, even though I know he's come out under fire from just breathing. But I have trust in him. And I do hope that it works. So any final thoughts that you would have to say?
Marvel's kicking themselves in the ass for what they did to James Gunn. And I wish all the best for him and everything he's doing with DC now. I'm glad that he's taken the reins and he's really passionate for this stuff. That means a lot. Like just the comic books in general. The stuff he's done for Guardians has been great. The stuff he's done for Suicide Squad has been great. So I'm happy that he's doing more. And this just shows it, bringing in crypto and bringing in all these other like throwbacks of, and a lot of people don't really know who these characters are. So I'm happy they're introducing them and not just going that safe route of just doing what people know just to make money and that's it. So in James Gunn we trust. And yeah, I'm so freaking happy and excited for this version of Superman. This is the Superman that I was raised with, not that dark brooding shit.
I like that. But no, I completely agree with you. And this, who knows? This maybe can allow Marvel to up there, do something.
Do you know that? Do you know that guy Soups? He's famous on TikTok. And he's on Twitter a little bit. He does a lot of like comic book reviews or movie reviews and stuff like that. He mentioned that they released a teaser poster for Fantastic Four, like literally the day that they showed the teaser for Superman, and Soups was saying something. He was saying like, oh, like Marvel is trying to like take all that hype away from Superman and start to introduce show some leaked footage and in these posters and stuff for Marvel things. So I'm really hoping that happens. Like this would really be fun to finally see Marvel versus DC again and kind of see who wins this battle.
See, to me, it's never been a battle. You're giving me, just make sure it's good, and then I'm the one who ends up, happy. Yeah. You're giving me all good things. I'm happy. I don't want there to be a battle. I know, competition is good for everything. Mm-hmm. Both companies are making money. But it is nice to see, like, hey, we got Marvel again. Hey, we got DC again. And everyone can be happy. And I think we'll never live in harmony, but everyone can be happy. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy about that. And yeah. So that's just kind of my thing overall. Give us good stuff. And this looks good. And I hope Fantastic Four ends up being good as well. I hope we get more, another teaser or another trailer. Super Bowl is happening on February. And we have Beyonce's Super Bowl, which is happening on Christmas Day. And Christmas Day is known to drop some things, some goodies. So between those two halftime shows, give us something. That'll be a really great time. Even though it's streaming on Netflix and not like on regular TV platforms. But you could still drop a trailer on the YouTube. So give us something. I'm happy about that. So overall, I think this has been a really happy, delightful moment that we've all been waiting for, and it lived up. There's nothing worse than like we've been waiting for years, and then it's dog poop. Mm-hmm. So we got something. We've been talking for over an hour, which I didn't even feel like it was over an hour. Mm-hmm. So we got into it. We dived into it. We were being meticulous and maybe a little bit over too much. So I'm happy about that. So once again, I am joined by Mr. Danny Martinez, and I have been Dana, the entertainment editor, and we will see you again for hopefully another thing. Maybe Marvel's like, here's all of our trailers. Take that. We get the trailers of 2025.
We'll be there
for it. Absolutely. So once again, thank you for listening to us, and we will be back whenever. Have a great day, afternoon, and evening, and see you guys later.